Hey folks, Dan Fedor here. Pretty far overdue for another update, so I thought maybe I'd do a quick video today to kind of show off some stuff rather than let it go another couple weeks. So, as is tradition, let's start with some concept art. Today we have a new image by Charlie Martin, who started doing some really cool illustrations for us. This is his rendition of the Tharsis Landing Undercity on Mars. So this is a city that is primarily built underground, taking advantage of some of the shielding due to Mars's lack of a magnetosphere and thick atmosphere. So a lot of this city is actually built into the lava tubes and then some larger excavated areas like you see here, here and there. Lava tubes on Mars, I'm picturing those to be sort of the size of like a subway tunnel or maybe like a large tunnel that you would find in a city. And then a little bit more excavated from that with buildings coming out of the sides. However, areas like this are a bit more like a cistern or like a large cavern that the lava tube enters into. And as you can see, we have what we're calling subscrapers. They're basically skyscrapers that go down from the surface, and then they go way down, in this case, to street level below, but there's lots of tiered sort of activity on multiple levels of balconies and walkways and pedways. This is a very big city. This is probably one of the biggest cities in Ostranauts' solar system. It's primarily a Xinhua or future China settlement. However, it is a multicultural settlement. It was started by Xinhua during the colonization of the system. Tech level here is pretty high. The amenities are pretty abundant. There's still a lot of income disparity. You'll have your uber rich here, but then you'll also have your hopeful refugees and immigrants, and pretty good chance that if there's a business in the system, it has either a headquarters here or a very large presence here, because this is a major commerce hub. Up on the surface, we have some domes where this city peeks out, some landing areas, and then you'll see kind of in the middle of the picture near the top, there's this highlight here. Some of these shafts, or some of these areas of the city have shafts up to the surface that are covered, but they still let a little bit of light in, some daylight in, sort of dust-covered windows, and distant sunlight seeps through into here. But this is a dark underground city, a lot of artificial lighting. So yeah, that's a pretty important place in the system, and I'm hoping that players will get a chance to see it once we've started developing some of these more complicated stations. Okay, so elsewhere in Ostranauts news, we've had a pretty big change, pretty big bunch of changes since the last video. Chris Blackburn has recently joined as a contract developer, so he's been helping me a bunch with some programming work. Like I said earlier, Charlie Martin starting to help out with illustrations. So we're starting to see a lot more activity. And I think what I'll do today is maybe just sort of play from the beginning into as far as I get to show off some of the stuff that's changed since the last video. One of the biggest things I want to show off, though, is this new lighting system. Chris has been hard at work kind of optimizing it and also making it look nice. So one of the things you'll notice is these walls are now illuminated on the side that faces the light, but then they're dark on the opposite side. So walls get half lighting now. And the nice effect there is you can see the walls of the room that you're in, but you can't see anything like lighting from the other side until you go into that room and then see the lighting on the other side. This solves a problem where if you're in a dark room and there's a wall with a light on the other side, you would see the whole wall before. Now, it's a little bit more realistic. And then he did a great job sort of fixing up these corner pieces, which in the past you may remember were flickering. They would either be fully illuminated or not, and frequently would alternate between them. And here we have some nice consistent lighting that wraps around, and the shadows sort of cast. It's a little bit unrealistic the way they cast, but I think we made the best choice we could here to kind of show you the stuff you need to see and still make it look mostly real. Like, for example, this fridge, technically you can only see the front edge of it, but we've exposed the whole fridge. And then similarly, like this door, we cast a shadow beyond there, even though there would probably be a little bit of a shadow there. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in my mind. And he did a really great job of improving the way that looks. Smoother too. Like, I don't know if you can really tell just by watching the video, but the frame rate is better. It's more consistent. It struggles less when we open a room or move a light or anything like that. In fact, what I could probably do is go over here and put on the EVA suit, since that comes with a light on the head. So this was traditionally a little bit more expensive to do, like with a walking light around here. We have to recalculate the light every time he moves, but it's much smoother now. So we'll leave that helmet on, and we'll go over here, and we'll use the job kiosk, which is mostly the same as before, but I made a few changes. We'll choose a shipbreaker career, and let's choose... I'm going to choose street etiquette just in case. I'll see if it comes up. And then the acrobatics skill, and we'll confirm. We make a new contact. Okay. Let's continue our career as a shipbreaker. We'll be observant, and sure, we'll take up some dancing. Made a new friend, who's another shipbreaker from Titan. Try again. So one of the things I added here, and I'm not sure if it's going to come up, but we'll see. Okay, so this is different. But one of the things I added was interactive events. So if, for example, I took that skill in street etiquette, I might get an opportunity to go in on kind of a shady deal with one of my contacts. And if you have street etiquette, you can kind of detect it's a shady deal and it's not going to go well for you. And that skill allows you to choose an option, sort of Neo-Scavenger style, to get the best of that deal without getting caught. But if you don't have it and you go for the deal, you end up getting caught, or you could just opt out of the deal entirely. And that becomes like an event in your career history that gives you a little bit of starting cash extra. In this case, we got the final, or what could be our final event in the career, which is an opportunity to take a ship. But what I might do is, let's just see if I can... I decide the time isn't right yet. I'm going to see if I can trigger that thing one more time. I've got one or two more... I think I've got one more shot at this before my time's up. Nope, okay. We'll take the ship. So we got the ship. This is just our tin can salvage pod. And we will start in there. Okay, and I think what we'll do is we'll walk over here and we will drop our outfit to put on this EVA suit. Equip. And then you might also notice there's this little caution symbol here. So Michael set up a jobbing system a while back to start controlling sort of RimWorld or Dwarf Fortress-like bulk jobs and job controlling stuff. The way right now it's indicated is if there's a job to be done, there's a little marker like this over the thing. And this happens to be a maintenance type job on the nav console. It's basically checking your course to make sure you're not about to crash into something. And I think, let me see here, if I go to roster, it is currently 1,300 hours. So if I change this block of time to be my work time, and then I wait for him to decide what to do, now Kirby now jumps on the nav console and is doing a nav station check. So Na is basically doing her job. And anytime we've scheduled tasks to be done, the crew will basically go into the list of things to be done, figure out which one is something they can do, and then they'll go and do it. And I'll show you a couple more of those too. How much longer do we have? That's 60 seconds long. Let's give her a couple more seconds. This might actually finish. While she's doing that, I can actually show you some of the UI for it. So we've set up a UI over here for building things around the ship. So these are different categories of things that can be built. You could select one. Let's do a wall. And then you could paint that wall here. Let's do that, for example. So if we ever get the materials to build wall, these are now jobs that need to be done. What I might do, since I don't want to wall myself into my ship, I'll just cancel those guys. So these are some other types of jobs you can do which are not building. These are uninstall jobs and hauling jobs. And hauling uses the zone system. So for now, we'll set up this little airlock area as a place to collect things. And we'll select the tiles from that area and we'll say they are a barter zone, which is right now the only way to indicate that items should go there. So now if we had any hauling jobs, the AI would drop them here. This is what the AI is aware of as a valid drop destination. So it looks like the job is, well, the indicator's gone, so we'll assume that's good enough. And then we're going to use the nav station now. And let's see if I'm pretty close to some of these ships in the shipyard right now. I'm going to switch to ship tracking mode. So that's me right there. We could probably jump onto that ship right there. And there's also OB MW1N. Let's see if they show up on the scanner here. No, it's OB right there. So we'll dock. We'll accept. I'm not going to navigate through this manually. I'll just do my debug jump to automatically align the clamps. I'll engage my clamps, and then we'll be on the Derelict. We'll maybe try and do one of those haul jobs just to show that off. Okay, we are loading, and waiting for the docking ring to pop. Oh, maybe it already did. Looks like we actually have time back here. I guess we already did. I just didn't realize. So we'll walk over to here, and let's see, make sure I have shore leave so I can leave my ship. And then we'll walk over here, and I'm being a bad person by leaving all of the airlocks open, and we're now losing air. All my alarms are going off. Oops, but it's a short demo, so it's okay. I also have my EVA suit on. So we'll do some hauling jobs, and let's see if we end up doing them. It depends on if he can walk over to them. It looks like this is a walkable grate. Those are walkable, so we're now ferrying stuff that we've designated for hauling over to the haul zone. We'll do one or two more. But the idea here is to eventually add more and more jobs that are relevant to the types of things you would do on a ship. And that way you wouldn't have to manually tell your crew to do every little thing. You can just have them start to operate the ship on a normal basis. You know, some of the things are like periodic maintenance of a device, or checking up on a device, or repairs on a device. You can also say, well, I want you to uninstall... actually, come over here so I can see what's going on. So these are all dead walls, so why don't we... don't think I can uninstall a dead wall. I think I have to scrap those, but maybe there's some full walls over here that I can show you. There's one. Okay. So I go over here and I say uninstall everything there. So using our trusty tools, we start uninstalling the things that I've designated, and this might be useful for, say, gutting a ship if you want to get materials out of it, or if you need these pieces to be used somewhere else. I didn't have to go through and manually tell them to do everything. It just drilled down and said, everything in this swath of wall, just start uninstalling it. And then similarly, I could start painting wall jobs or conduit jobs over here, and then when he's done with these tasks, or she's done, she'll move over here and start installing things over there. So that's a pretty big deal, and it now is hooked up to the duty prioritizing system. So if we say we want construction to be higher, we want hauling to be lower, so on. The game now pays attention to this, so now we'll treat these things accordingly. So yeah, that's a lot of the jobbing system work, a lot of the lighting system changes, and I think that's probably going to wrap it up for today. I have to kind of check out early, but hopefully it gives you a sense of sort of the progress we've been making in the last couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again soon.